Hey,
Jeff
what's up?
Johnson from GameOn.
Hello, Jeff Johnson.
Big question I've got for you.
Sure.
When you're involved in major projects like
Sure.
the Avengers movies,
Yep.
I guess, how does it affect you to have to keep a lot of the things you do sort of secret, away from the people you know, that sort of thing?
It's the worst part of the job, but it's also the coolest job in the world and the worst job in the world in one, right? So I'll tell you the story. I work with Hasbro all the time. I work on different lines, all kinds of cool things. They said, we want you to be in-house. We want you to fly here for a meeting. I go, why would I need to fly? I mean, I work with you guys every day. We're talking right now. We can just get right. And they go, no, you physically have to be in the building. So I flew down there. I get into the meeting, and there's 4 or 5 of us. There's me, our director, head director, sitting in his office. He pushes a button and he says, "Thanks for coming, Ken. This is what happened. This is why we're here. Is for Avengers." Clicks the button and he says, "These are the list of the characters that die in Infinity War." Do you know what I mean? Like that's how he broke it to me, and I'm like, "Dude!" And then he goes, "These are the characters that stay dead." And I was like, what? What? Whoa, dude, you got to pace yourself, right? Like, it was like, and I said, back up. And this is before Black Panther came out. So before Black Panther came out, Black Panther's on the list, right? So I'm like, you can't kill the black guy right away. Like, what's going on here, right? There was a lot of drama, but that's the kind of stuff that happens, you know? So you have to keep secrets. Like, my family is so good, they don't want to see any kind of spoilers whatsoever. So I don't tell them anything. So I let them just sort of go and enjoy it. But it's hard for 2 years to sit around and kind of and just pretend like you don't know anything, and seeing all those trailers that are none of that stuff is in the movie. Like, you know, we see like Black Widow. I mean, none of that stuff is in. I mean, like, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? Like they do trailers are fun, but they're really about advertising, not about what's in the movie.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
We have On Comics Ground, and then we'll have one more after that.
Okay, let's do this.
Hi, my name is Kai.
Hi, Kai.
I'm with On Comics Ground.
How are you?
We are an LGBT-led comics review site.
Cool.
We are 50-50 black and white contributors.
That's awesome.
Our EIC is a black man, and he's a huge fan of yours.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
So we are like working to build a safe community for everybody to enjoy
Absolutely.
comics. So with your work on Black Panther,
Yep.
and then your work on X-Men
Yep.
being so iconic, and especially with X-Men being a political comic illustrating the struggles of
Yep.
traditionally underrepresented individuals,
Yep.
and being an allegory for like the gay coming out experience.
Yeah.
Why do you think these characters resonate with the traditionally underrepresented, and how do you as the artist reflect that struggle and make it feel relevant?
Well, I mean, you just tell a human story. I think that's really what it comes down to. I mean, no matter what you do as a storyteller, if you're coming from a base of truth, it doesn't matter really what it's about, right? So one of the things that I find really interesting about some of the work I've worked on over the years is having a person of color working on Black Panther is kind of like a no-brainer, but that's not always what happens, right?
Yeah.
So some of the early Black Panther stories where people were talking about were great black stories that were told by people who were not black. So I mean, they can identify with the struggle, you can always find your truth and yourself in some of the stories, right? I just did a story with Spider-Man, a character, Gibbon, that was very sort of, who's Gibbon? Who's this character? And he's basically retelling his life. And there's some parts of that story, it was gut-wrenching because he was telling you about the mistakes that he made and how he ended up being a minor character and how he met Spider-Man, and he had a rough day that day, and somebody had said something to him, and then when Spider-Man laughed, he took it personal, and he said he shouldn't have done that. And we could all relate to that story where we've overreacted to something, or I've even jobs that I didn't get that I thought, I didn't get the job because I was of color, right? But there was a time where I thought about those kinds of things. And then you know what I really took to heart? I said, if I'm so good that they can't say no, then that's what I need to be. So that's why that was my focus, was being so good at what I do that it doesn't matter. I get into the room because of my talent, not because of, let's hire this colored artist for this. They just go, Ken's a really good artist and he can do anything. And that's how I sectioned my career. But there was a tough times where I would see other artists get things that I felt I could have done that better because I was, but then that's how life works, right? You have to sort of pay your dues. Like I'm not a 52-year-old overnight success. I went through all those things. So these people talk to me now, you're great. But I said, let me tell you, it's 23 years of this stuff. It wasn't overnight.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Last question from 660 News. Are you guys close enough?
Yeah, I can.
Move on
Let's
in.
do
Yeah.
it.
How's it going?
How's it going with you?
Pretty good.
So,
One question we just kind of had too is
Shoot.
since you've done like some Marvel and DC, can
Yep.
you bounce between the two? Do you have a preference?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I think, be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I grew up as a Marvel guy. My favorite books growing up was Uncanny X-Men was my favorite thing. John Byrne, issue 108 to 143 are my favorite things. So getting a chance to draw Uncanny X-Men was, a dream come true. I mean, even now, even how I'm working on Spider-Man is so bizarre. I went to see Spider-Verse, and I posted on my social media that I liked the movie, and Marvel reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to draw Spider-Man?" And that's how it works, and then that's how life works, I guess that's it. I mean, once you put all the energy out there, the energy comes back.
Just like try to be positive, right? And then everybody
Always be
likes it.
positive. Even the negative, there's always a positive. I mean, like, I remember when I first started business, I thought being famous was important, and it's so irrelevant. Being the best artist you can be is the only thing you can control. So I would just work on my stuff, and then when I became more popular, it was like I didn't care about that stuff anymore. I didn't care about, saying the right thing, being to the right parties. All that stuff is innocuous and silly. Just be really, really talented at what you do, and work at it every day.
Hey, this is Duke Nukem. When I'm not out saving the universe from mutant panty wastes, I'm listening to Game On.